Yeah.
Hello
Okay.
chị Lan, thank you for joining us as well. Okay,
Dạ,
well,
xin chào thầy Frank Vương, chào anh Andrew. Lan xin phép
Hello.
bắt cam lắng nghe ạ.
okay.
Biết ơn thầy, biết ơn anh Andrew.
Chị Lan, where are you from?
Em ở Việt Nam đó thầy.
Okay,
Dạ.
okay, all right. So it's a tradition, while we wait for more people to join us, or while before we start the official sharing, we usually make it a habit to sort of review last week's lesson from the perspective of from the listener. Let me see if I can increase the lighting just a little bit. Not much. Okay, anyway, and it is called the principle of brain activation. Okay, basically, there is a formula to help us activate our brain and help our learning, improve our memory, and help us experience a better reality based on what we've learned. And it goes something like this. There are three parts. One is the lesson. Okay? So the simplest thing we can do is just think about what we've learned, even just today or from last week. Lesson is basically anything that we consider new to us. So we can review that, basically feed it back to the person who taught it to us. Hello, chị Nguyễn Thị Thanh. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Miss Brown. Hello, everyone.
On another level, if the things that we have learned have impressed us in some way, so we look for the impression. So lesson, impression, and impression are anything that we can find applicable to life. Oh, I really impressed by something that I've learned today. And that is something that I could take into my life and try it out right away. And finally, by in reviewing the lesson, we want to look for anything that have caused us a new realization. Okay, a new realization could be an answer to a set of questions or inquiry that we have been pondering for a long time. And that realization basically caused us a shift in the way we think, so that it leads to a transformation, or we just transform. Okay, we think differently, we behave differently, and our life changed from there. So the question is, do you remember anything from last week? Any lesson? You can look through your note, just kind of review your lesson, and share it with the group. If anything if any of that impresses you, and if anything jump out, any light bulb, any realization that basically has made a difference in your life. Okay, it is called the principle of mental activation, or principle of brain activation. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us. Anh Lê, Miss Kate Nguyễn, Mr. Đức Lộc, Kate Nguyễn. So, just to help you guys review last, several weeks of sharing, here we are talking about the idea of the fullness of awareness of human being, what it means to be a human being. Okay, what it means to be a human being. We talk about the idea of awareness. What does it mean to have awareness and not have awareness? A person who is not aware of anything is either doesn't know anything about that or that topic, or when thinking about some topic and they have a negative inner state, they have negative mindset, they have negative emotion, and we say that that person doesn't have an awareness about that topic. When a person inner state becomes positive, then we say, oh, okay, you are now aware of that topic. But it is not until our inner state become balanced and positively oriented, and that we have positive mental image about that topic, and that we have favorable beneficial source concept about that topic, that we say a person is fully aware of that topic. And the power is when you become fully aware of something, you are also experiencing the reality of it. So fullness of awareness equates to reality. So if we want a reality of anything, we want to get to a state in which we are balanced and positive, we have positive mental images, and we have favorable source concept. Okay. So here we're talking about what it means to be a human being. So fullness of awareness about human beings means to have a balanced and positively oriented inner state about being human, to have positive mental images about being human, and to have favorable source concept about being human. Okay. So does any of that sort of tickle your brain yet?
Well, I can comment, but not on that last week's.
Go ahead.
But
Anything.
I watched the YouTube video. You had two of them there,
Okay.
and I watched the first one,
Okay.
and it talked about inner balance. You talked about inner balance, and I remember to hear, to see, to speak, to know. And I think what I grasped from all, and I wrote some notes on that, on the comments, so that I can always go back to the video and just see. It's easier for me. But if we lose our balance, we go into this negative state about something negative in life, I think we're supposed to just, if someone's talking negative, we can just, okay, we hear you, we see you, you're speaking, but maybe you're not knowing. So somehow we just use that to get back to a balance. Is that kind of correct? That's what I think I read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Help. At least
Okay.
it's something. At least it's something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, I think you are in a more balanced state today than it was last week. Okay,
Yes,
I get the sense that you are more balanced today than last week.
yes, I'm more
And
prepared.
the idea is that we have this truth within us that does not change. Okay, the truth within.
The truth that sets you
free. Right, that speaking, that knowing, it's always there. Okay, and at any time, especially when we find ourselves in a negative state, we're talking to somebody, right? And somebody's saying something, and we consider that to be negative. That is already a human experience, right? At that moment in time, we are experiencing what that person say as negative. At that moment, our inner state is negative. And if we just, instead of focusing on what they say, or instead of focusing on what we think about what they say, or instead of focusing how we feel about what we think about what they say, all of that is going to keep us in this trap of negativity.
Yeah.
And so to rescue ourselves, we can temporarily sort of let go.
Yeah.
Just temporarily let go of the thinking mind, temporarily let go of the feeling emotion, and just notice that I am already always hearing or seeing. And if you can focus intensely in that already always hearing and already seeing, there's no content there, because the will to hear, the will to see, there's no content just yet. It is just the will to hear and the will to see. Right? There's no content there. And so you can temporarily feel a sense of balance because it's not being pulled up or down by the content. And if you can reach that state just momentarily, you can feel peace.
Yeah.
And if you can reach that, if you can extend that, a little longer, then you can feel a little more peace.
And you get through it.
Right. And when the beauty of it is that if you can reach that state of balance, then the next emotion, the next thought, you can proactively choose what to think, how to feel. Instead of being pulled by it, instead of being controlled by it. You can even generate emotion like anger. Whereas up to now, we have the tendency to be controlled by things like our emotion, right? Our mind thinks something and then we feel something and can't control it. But we stop for a moment, pause, temporarily set it down, and by focusing on this inner truth within us, then we can retake control of it, and then we can choose the next thought. It could be a positive thought, or if you want it to be a negative thought, it can be a negative thought too. But that comes with choice and power, even a negative emotion. There are times when I choose to be angry. I have chosen to emote, to generate the negative emotion of anger, but I do it with control, with limit. And when I have achieved the effect that I need with that anger, then I can immediately drop it.
Yeah.
That's retaking control over your own mind and your own emotion. Right? Yeah. And so that's a wonderful lead into our discussion for today. We'll review a little bit. And if you remember, if anybody have a time that you took the time to draw this image, right? Deep within us, there's the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, and the will to know. Okay, wrapped up in a highly balanced light energy. Okay, this is called the map of human nature. It is also called the human construct or the human structure. It is also called the human energy structure because it talks about energy. With the truth within being a highly balanced and highly energized part of ourselves. We all have it. It is something that does not change over space and time. In fact, at the end of our lives, when our body disintegrates, when there's no more brain to think, or no body to feel, this part about ourselves remain.
Really? Where is it?
Yeah. Obviously, this is a borrow from a point of view of religious and spiritual perspective. Okay, science cannot prove yet, but most religion believe that there's something about a human being that extend beyond this single lifetime. Okay, and looking at this map, it is also like an island, a safe haven, a beacon in the night. Outside of that is the turbulence, the storm, so to speak. If you're in the ocean and we are in the storm of desire and imagination, the content of our mind, we worry about wealth, we think about beauty, we're interested in identity, we are attached to consumption, we need rest. And this middle part the focus of the human nature, the middle part is called the human. The inside part is called our true nature because it does not change. It's the truth, it does not change, so it's called our true nature. This middle part is called our human nature, and human nature is made up of 16 parts, 16 nature. Right? Reception, imagination, expression, cognition. Reception are our tendency to receive things into ourselves. We imagine things, we express ourselves, and we know all of that become part of our cognition. And there's a statement that you want to write down that desire and imagination is the focus of human nature. Desire and imagination is the focus of human nature. Because of desire and imagination. In fact, we desire and imagine about wealth, which is money and power and resources. We desire and imagine beauty, form, appearance, the way our body look, the way our spatial surrounding look. We desire and imagine about identity, who we are, who the other person is, our job title. We desire and imagine food we consume, okay? And we consume not only food and water, but we consume the media, we consume entertainment. Many would think about consumption. We're always desiring and imagining about consumption. And we have a desire and imagination for rest, the need to recuperate, going on the next vacation. And because we are always desiring and imagining wealth, beauty, identity, consumption, and rest, that give rise to the other nature, our temperance, our perception, our pride, our inquiry, our ethic, and our judgment. Here we're going to change the word ethic to ethos. It's more like ethos. Ethos is our ability we have the good and evil. In other words, if our desire and imagination is met or not met, we will tend to switch over to the temperament of positive and negative. Positive temperament tend to be satisfaction. If our desire and imagination is positive, we can switch over temperament and we experience satisfaction, pleasure. If our desire and imagination about these 5 things are not met, we switch over to temperament of anger. Okay? And we have desire and imagination for wealth, beauty, identity, consumption, and rest. And basically the combination of all of our human nature, the 16 human nature, give rise to a sense of ego, a sense of self, and what other people notice and call it our personality. Okay? And our human nature, it has the negative and positive polarity to it. When a person is positive in their desire, they tend to think about other people, hence altruism. When a person is negative in desire, they tend to think about themselves. And if you notice that as a person's nature shifts toward the positive side of their being, they would tend to also experience life positively. They have trust, they have confidence, they have clarity, they have satisfaction. They are benevolent to other people. They are altruistic and open-minded. It is the positive side of life, the positive experience of life. On the other hand, if a person shifts toward the negative spectrum in the human nature, they're selfish, they tend to be angry, they're delusional, they are inferior, they doubt, they are very cruel to other people, and they're obstinate in their mindset, then they will also experience life negatively. In fact, the moment that you are angry, that is your experience of life, of negativity. Right? The moment that we doubt somebody, that is an experience of life that is negative.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can kind of know that, okay, I think we want to go positive. Okay, we want to go positive.
There's a lot of negative. Oh no.
Okay. And of course, being too positive may shift us to being negative. A person who is very, let's say, altruistic, they do charity. They give. They're always thinking about other people. Maybe they're a parent. Maybe you've been a parent yourself. And we take care of our children. We take care of them. We're altruistic for many years. And at some point, some part of our desire for our children is not met. We may switch over to anger, and immediately we become very selfish. We have parents who disown their children. We have CEO and CFO of charitable foundation who steal money from their own organization. They become very selfish because why? They spend too much time being positive, and too much positive can switch over to negativity. Yeah. So that is why we invite you to practice maintaining balance. If we're in a state of euphoria, we find ourselves being very pleasurable, we might want to be a little careful and say, okay, maybe I'm a little off balance. It's okay to enjoy the pleasure of life, but let's go back to balance so that I don't unintentionally fall back to negativity. Right? And so that is the human nature. It basically makes up our mind, okay? Our thinking mind, our analyzing and distinguishing mind. And it is wrapped up in a positive and negative energy polarity because it does go positive and it goes negative. Right outside of the human nature is the emotion, what the Buddhists call 84,000 bubbles of illusion. Emotion rises up, it goes away. Strong emotion rise up and they tend to bust very strongly as well. An emotion could be a combination of things. We could be loving somebody and angry at them at the moment, right? We could be very happy and sorrowful at the same moment. We could cry tears of joy or anguish. And so our emotion, 84,000 bubbles of illusion, basically represent all of that impermanent state of being that we can't really take refuge in. We cannot anchor ourselves in emotion. In fact, people who chase emotion tend to experience a lot of suffering because the bubbles bust. They're never there, constantly, right? And so it's called illusion. But it is not the truth. It does not reflect what is. It is only reflects our internal state. In fact, our emotion sits in between our mind and our body. Let me draw the simplified version of this map, and you will see. We can see that a little bit more simply. Okay, there's a more simplified version of that picture. Let's use this one. The truth that does not change. Some spiritual tradition call it the soul. We just simply call it spirit. Okay. Outside of the spirit, we have the mind. Let's use green. Our mind. Okay. Let's use another color. Let's make red. So for passion, emotion. Our mind, our emotion. And outside of that is our body. Let's use purple for the body. Purple royalty. We honor our body as something that is royalty. Okay. Let's see if I can share with you an awareness about the emotion. Consider the statement. The emotion is the body's reaction to the mind. Okay. Emotions are our body's reaction to the mind. And this is how it works. When we encounter any situation, we call it message from the external world. Okay. Whether we see somebody as an image, or we hear a sound, or somebody say something, or a life situation. Let me ask you, which part of our human being, our spirit, our mind, our emotion, or our body, which part of our being received the message first?
Spirit.
Yeah, because it is our will to hear, our will to see that will encounter it before we think about it, before we feel it. And so the beauty of understanding human nature is that we always receive an external message with our true spirit, our true self, our spirit first. And that is very highly balanced. Okay, the moment we receive it, it's very highly balanced. But our mind, which makes up of our 16 nature, which makes up our desire and our imagination, it has a positive and negative polarity. After we receive a message truly, our mind kicks in. We have judgment, we have perception, we have agreement and disagreement. It takes on a positive or negative direction. And because it takes on a negative direction, our body feels it as emotion.
Can I do a quick question?
Yeah.
Ego.
Ego is what the mind creates.
It's the mind.
Our sense of self, our personality.
So sometimes the mind hears before the spirit hears. Because someone says something, makes it affects your ego, so it goes right to your head. So you know what I'm trying to do here?
Yeah, because we don't give enough time for
the spirit,
the hearing, and the true hearing and the true seeing.
Positive.
Yeah.
The spirit is positive all the time, right?
No, it's not positive. It is neither positive or negative. It is very balanced.
It's balanced.
It is totally balanced.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally balanced. Okay. It does not change. The will to hear and the will to see does not change. There's no content just yet. Okay, the will to hear, the will to see, the will to speak, the will to know. There's no content. And so it is very balanced.
So it's our mind that takes us off balance?
It is, yeah, it is our thinking mind that takes us off balance.
And all the ego and something else. But
yeah,
the ego. That's the easy one. Okay.
So what do we do with, just to simplify it? Okay. What we do with the spirit is we simply receive it. Okay. Anything, we just simply receive it
through the spirit.
But if we don't notice it, we are not aware of it, we don't allow it some time and space, then the mind will immediately take over. It starts to analyze and distinguish. Yeah. Okay. So it analyzes, and we analyze and we distinguish true or false, good or bad, should or should not, believe it or not believe it. And
it's good.
Yeah, it takes on a direction. And as it takes on a direction, our emotion will also get affected. It will take on certain emotion. We begin to like it or not like it.
Can I call that prejudice?
Prejudice falls into part of the mind. It has to do with our judgment and our perception. Okay?
Okay.
And because it goes from balance to positive or balance to negative, right? Our emotion will take on a positive or negative polarity as well. And guess what? As our emotion takes on the positive or negative polarity, our body, we sense it with our body. When we go negative, like anger, we feel it in here, tightness in our chest. We feel it in our body. When we experience negative thought that relates to things like resentment, we feel it in the pit of our stomach. When our thought and our analytical mind goes negative, we feel things like sadness and depression. Our body, our heart will literally feel it. In fact, people who are angry a lot experiences indigestion, stomach problem, acid reflux. It is the body's reaction to the mind. Okay, a person who is sad a lot, very depressed for a long time. Usually, let's say there are two spouses very close to each other. One of them passed away. The remaining one becomes so sad and depressed that after a brief time, could be several months, he or she will experience heart failure. It is called the broken heart syndrome. It is not just in the romantic novel, it is a diagnosis. It's a real medical diagnosis. Broken heart syndrome is a physical manifestation of the emotion that is negative as a result of mental processes that is also negative. So our body, our emotion is the reaction to the mind, and we feel it in the body. Okay, people who experience balance in their spirit, they maintain a balanced state of mind, a balanced state of emotion. Guess what happened to their body? The body is also balanced. They don't tend to get sick. When our mind and our emotion gets out of balance, our body will get sick. Ever heard of the term to catch a cold? You walk out into we catch a cold. Yeah, we catch a cold. It is our bodies getting sick because something is out of balance. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the body. Okay, the body, according to the map of human nature or the human structure or the human construct, is called the 4-element body. This is a very simple, if not simplistic, way of thinking about the body. And it is also a way for us to simply take ownership and master over our body and thereby our health. If we use the Western medical way of thinking about the heart, lungs, and cells and organ and tissue, it gets really complicated, and nobody can grasp it all. But if we think about the body in this simplistic way, making up of earth element, water element, air, and fire, then we can really make it a simple act of maintaining balance. Starting with earth. Our body is made of the element of earth. This is a classical element, okay? We're not talking about the scientific way. This is classical way of looking at it. Our body is made of earth. We eat the animal eat the plant gets a nutrient from the earth. So essentially, we're all made of earth. Okay, carbon being the most abundant, one of the most abundant element in the earth. We're made of earth. If we understand that the human body is made of earth, and we understand the source concept of balancing our earthly element in the body, in other words, nutrition. If we have a balanced, nutritious diet, then our earthly body will be healthy. That is a simplistic way of understanding it. Okay? Our body is made of earth. When we die, our body goes back to the earth. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, earth to earth. So, if we can become of our body as earth, and we cultivate positive images about what this earthly body looks like, and we cultivate favorable source concept about the earthly element within our body, nutrition, then we can learn to balance our body from a nutrition perspective. Okay? Our body is also made of water. Okay? Literally 70% of water. If we understand that our body needs earth and it needs water, then we would do ourselves a favor and drink water. Drink enough water so for our body to sustain itself. Every metabolic process in the body, every energy that is created and being used in our body requires water. It is an environment of water.
Excuse me, I need to get some water.
And there you go. Now take a drink. Everybody take a sip. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for that. Some hot water.
Whenever we get sick, okay, and we go to the hospital, what is the first thing that the nurses at the hospital do? Or the doctor they do to keep us alive? Do they give us an IV? They put an IV, they put a needle, put it in a bag, and they give us an IV of fluid, an intravenous infusion of fluid. And a lot of time, just a bag of IV will make us feel better, because most people walk around not having enough water in the body. We are generally dehydrated as human beings. But especially now in this day, in the modern day, we're too busy working that we forget to drink. Okay, so we are always walking around being dehydrated. So the first thing, if you ever get sick, and first thing you go into the hospital, the nurses will give you an IV drip. In the IV drip, there is water and there is the element of calcium and sodium, the electrolyte. Okay, those are part of the earth. So when we understand water, when we understand our human body made up of water, we will respect our body's need for water and we will drink appropriately. Okay, next comes to air. Okay, our body is made of, we have plenty of air. We breathe, we need air in order for the metabolic processes to work, for the energy to be created, to move our muscle, to do everything. In fact, if we think of earth as the nutrient, the food that we eat, how long can a person survive without earth? How long can we survive without food? Does anybody here know?
Probably a week.
About actually a month. Most of us can survive about a month. A lot of the monks who goes on fasting bout, they can survive many months without eating anything.
Wow.
But how long can we survive without water?
A few days.
3 to 7 days. 3 to 7 days. Yeah, 7 days a week is the max. Some people die after 3 days. How long can we survive without air? Just a few minutes, right? 3 to 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, our brain cell will start to die. And so we can start to become aware of the importance of our body as we go from earth to water to air. Earth is actually very low in energy. Anything that is solid is very low in energy. Water, higher energy, right? Anything solid, when you melt it, it becomes fluid. Water is fluid. And if the water is energized, it becomes air. So air has a much higher energy. It is also much more contributing to life. So if we start to become aware of our body as having air, then we would start to experience life on a higher energy level. We will appreciate life a lot more if we start to pay attention to air. Most of us, when we take a breath, we either keep the air up in the chest or down below. Let's just take a little bit of an experiment. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. Okay, and then you can let it go. Okay, let's do it one more time. Everybody take a breath and let it go. Okay, can somebody let
Can I
You
ask
know,
one word?
yes.
Nearby the fry, what is the word? Nearby the fry in your map.
Where? What?
The fry, right?
Right here? Pride,
The fry and next one. Next
consumption,
one. No,
perception,
another. No,
inquiry.
the same circle, the same
Yeah.
circle.
On the left side
Yeah.
is inquiry. On the
Inquiry.
inquiry. Okay. Some of
Can
these
can
words
you
may
spell
change. Some of these words may change. It's okay to practice drawing them now, but we are still in the process of finalizing some of the vocabularies. Okay, I've already changed ethic to ethos. Okay, but anyway, let's stick to the program. We're talking about air. Okay, so let me ask you, and you guys can interact. Okay, you can either speak up or type in the chat. When you inhale the air, do you notice that you tend to keep the air in the upper chest, the lower abdomen, or both? Type number 1 if it's upper chest, type number 2 if it's lower abdomen, type number 3 if you can fill up both parts.
3. What are you supposed to do? Tap?
No, you're okay. You're okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying type. Okay. So Mary Ann says that she's number 2. She can bring the air down to her lower abdomen. Okay. What about everybody else? Anybody here still very good? Andrew is number 3. You are both part top and bottom. Okay.
I think.
Yeah. So most of you have gone through the training, and most of you here have appreciated the power of air. Okay. And so we have learned to maximize our breathing. We use the upper lung, our lower abdomen, and so we can maximize the air in our body. Now, here's the thing. Let's go back. Have you ever experienced a time in your life when you're really tired? Maybe after a long day of work, maybe a long workout, and maybe you just flop down onto the sofa and you can't get up. You feel really, really tired and you can barely move. If you have ever experienced your body being sluggish and tired, guess what? That is you being aware of the body as earth. You're feeling the weight. Yeah, because earth, those things carry weight. We feel our body being weight. If those of you who have learned to swim, and at first when you get into the pool and we struggle and we sink, that is our body being experienced as earth. It's like a rocket wants to sink. Okay. And at some point, we start to feel the body and the water. And we sort of become one with the water. We move fluidly through the water. We start to feel our body as the water, our water body. And it becomes more simple to move around. If any of you have been practicing the internal body transformation class or any of the breath energy exercises, you begin to feel your body, your air body. And so your movement, you notice your movement is lighter and faster. If you're running and you experience your body as earth, that's heavy, that's slow, that's tiring. But if you're jogging and running and you feel your body is made of air, because when you take a breath in, that breath fills every vein, every capillary, every blood vessel, every meridians in the body. If you can feel that air, that breath air in the body, then you can feel your body very light. And as a consequence, your exercise can be very effective. Okay, it is an awareness and perception about human body as the air body. Okay, and air has higher energy than water has higher energy than earth. Okay, so at some point I will resume opening the 4 a.m. class called Internal Body Transformation. Basically, it has to do with taking the breath and pushing the air through different part of the body and thereby strengthening the body. Previously, traditionally, when we think of strength, athlete, who focus on building strength, what do? They exercise the muscle, right? Exercise the muscle. They get bigger muscle, they get stronger, yes. But at the same time, they put on more weight, they put on more earth element. And so a lot of their effort is when they're doing something, when they're carrying something, not only do they carry an item that they need to carry, but they have to carry the weight of the whole body. So a lot of the strength is wasted on carrying the earth. In our internal body transformation exercise, we learn to use the air to strengthen the body. Imagine the tire of a car. The tire of a car is inside of a car is what? It's just air. But it can lift thousands of pounds just with air pressure. And so when we as a human being become aware of the air within our body, we can strengthen ourselves without putting on extra dead weight of muscle. Do you guys get that so far?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
It's true.
That's air. That's the power of the energy of air and pressure. Now, there's fire, okay? Fire here represent the temperature, the body heat, okay? Fire represent body heat. When we, during COVID, the doctor would tell us that if your temperature, let's say the human body is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, and if your body temperature raises just 6 degrees to 104 or something, you gotta get to the hospital fast. Yeah, you're in an emergency situation. Just a little shift in body temperature in the fire put us out of balance, and it is very detrimental. If our body loses the fire, we die. That's what happened. Okay, a corpse has no fire. So understanding our human body in terms of fire, in terms of the heat, is also important in order to maintain good health. That's where the term catch a cold come in. Catching a cold is when a person walks into an environment that is so cold that their body temperature shift to a point that is out of balance, thus compromising the immune system, thereby allowing viruses like the cold virus, the flu virus, to take its hold and does damage to our body. Too hot can give us a heat stroke. Too cold can give us cold. So our body is always trying to do something really wonderful. Okay, it is called, and this is the medical terminology, and it's a good idea to know this terminology. It is called homeostasis. Homeostasis. Stasis is a state. Homeo is like coming home. It's the same state. Coming home to the same state. Our body always wants to come back to the same state. It is a state of balance. In terms of body temperature, 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Is it 37 degrees Celsius or something like that? If we are out of balance, we will get sick. Okay, if we're out of balance, we will get sick. And there is another element, not so much element, but another part of the human body. So let's just let's do this one. Let's use another sheet. Well, let's do that one. Okay. In order for us to maintain homeostasis, we need the following. We need a balance of element of earth, which is nutrients. Okay. We need a balance of water. Most of us are dehydrated. We don't have enough water. If we have too much water, that's dangerous too, but that is very rare. It is rare for a human being to have too much water. We need a balance of air. those of us who have studied the internal body transformation, or those of us who have done some of the exercise in our philosophy, you have doubled your capacity for air. So we have maximized our body's ability to make use of air. And basically, ever since I started doing internal body transformation, I haven't caught a cold. Historically, before I studied this, I would get sick every year. I would catch a cold. It's just a common cold with coughing and sneezing and runny nose. And I would cough for like 3 months. And there were years when I was so sick that I would be sick like 3 times a year. And imagine being coughing for 3 months each time and multiply that by 3 times. That's like 9 months out of the years I would be sick. But once I started studying internal body transformation, learning to maximize my airflow, I haven't really gotten sick. Maybe a couple of days of feeling, under the weather, and then I would get better. Homeostasis, maintaining our fire. Maintain our fire. Well, guess what? The air helps us maintain the fire. Because in physics, there is a wonderful relationship between air pressure and temperature. When the air pressure rises, the temperature also rises. So in the internal body transformation exercise, what we do is we compress our air, raising our body temperature temporarily, maintaining stability. Okay? Air and fire. And there is one more element that we haven't talked about, but we're going to mention it. Electromagnetism. Electricity and magnetism. Human body, we have electromagnetism. We literally run on electricity. The element of earth that contribute to our electromagnetism is calcium, potassium, magnesium, sodium, a bunch of other stuff. They are called electrolyte. So when we exercise, get what happened? Our electrolyte gets depleted. So we have to bring the electrolyte back to balance so that we can maintain electromagnetic balance in our body. In order to move, electrolyte has to flow through our muscle. In order to think, electrolyte has to flow through our brain. In order for our heart to pump, electrolyte. In order for our digestive system to work, electromagnetism is at work. We can measure our electromagnetism. I am an electrocardiographic technician. When people have heart problem, they come to the doctor. Doctor send them to me. I put on a bunch of wires and I click a button on the screen and it'll print out a wave pattern indicating that person's electromagnetic form, letting the doctor know if they are in balance or out of balance. There are certain waveforms that tell a person that it's have a healthy heart, a certain waveform that tells that a person is out of balance and not, they're having trouble, their heart attack, for instance. Okay, a person who recently has a heart attack, the muscles of the heart gets damaged, the electrolyte gets way out of control, and you can see that on an electrocardiogram. Person who have neurological problem, their brain, their mind, they can go into a neurologist. The neurologist will give them an electroencephalogram, EEG. It maps out, it measures the electromagnetism of the brain. Okay? And here's the thing. So simple thing and so powerful that if you get this, you can basically, live a healthy life for the rest of your life. Our mind runs on electromagnetism. Our thinking mind is electromagnetic. Our thought is electromagnetic. When we think negative thought, it will negatively affect every other part of the body electromagnetically. When we think positive thought, it will affect every other part of the body electromagnetically. If we maintain a state of balance, it will affect the rest of the body electromagnetically. In fact, you can measure the electrical potential of the cell membrane around the cell of the human body. If a person who is in electromagnetic balance, homeostasis, let's just write the word balance for you guys. This balance, okay? If a person is electromagnetically balanced, then the cell membrane around every billion of the cell in the body will also be in balance. And that allows the transportation of nutrients and waste product in and out of the cell most effectively, getting rid of toxin in the body and absorbing nutrients, the earth element that we take into our body. Okay? So our mind essentially determines the health of our body. Our mind determines the health of our body electromagnetically. The content of our thought, the quality of our thought, the orientation of our thinking mind will determine the content, the quality of our emotion, and thereby the quality of our four-element body. If we are thinking negative, stressful thought, how does your body respond? It constricts. Stressful thought will constrict the body. What that stressful thought will actually do does this. When we are stressed, we're in an emergency situation, for example. A human body gets into what's called a fight or flight mode. Fight or flight mode. What it does, it constricts the blood vessels of our internal organ, and it expands the blood vessel of our muscle. It opens up our brain, allowing us to think faster, open up the muscle of our muscle in order for us to either fight or flight, which is run away. And that's great for survival. Okay, human beings are built that way. When we are in a stressful situation, our muscle gets more blood and oxygen. Our brain gets more blood and oxygen so that we can deal with that situation. It is an emergency situation. We need to survive. We either run away or we need to fight to survive. At the same time, it shuts down the blood flow to our internal organ, our stomach, our intestine, our bladder. There are people who are in stressful situation, they will lose their bladder, right? They will lose the bowel movement, they will lose the bladder, they'll pee and they'll defecate. Or they will vomit. Have you ever exercised so hard that you vomit? That is the body's natural way of saying, I don't need the food that is in the stomach right now. I need the blood and energy and the oxygen in the muscle that so that you can perform the physical exercise. And that's good for survival, but it is not good for a healthy lifestyle. The flight or fight response is a wonderful automatic process that helps us survive emergency situation. But what do you think is going to happen to your internal organ if we keep on maintaining this stressful, situation all day long, day after day? That stomach is not getting the blood. That intestine is not getting the blood. That pancreas is not getting all the blood. And after a while, we would start to develop chronic illnesses from the inside out. Okay? Only because of stress. And stress is nothing more than, the way we think. We get to a situation and we think negatively, we think stressfully, then our body would, pay the price for it. Okay? And so the lesson is, if we can maintain a state of balance with the inner being, pay more attention to the truth within us, allow our spiritual aspect of the human body to spend more time in peace, then as opposed to in stress, then we're going to experience a much more healthy life. Okay. Does anybody let's do some feedback in that part. So the body, our emotion, so our spirit simply receive, our mind analyze and distinguish. What does the emotion do? What does the emotion do? We basically react. But instead of reacting, now I invite you guys to, instead of reacting, we respond. Okay? We take a little bit of control with our emotion, we respond, not just react. Once we can achieve a state of balance, we can start to allow the analysis and the distinguished part of the mind to go positive, and then we can respond positively. Okay? And then our body will automatically get to enjoy the benefit of positivity from the spirit, the mind, and the emotion. Okay? Does that little sharing open up anybody's awareness about the body or the human nature or the what it means to be a human being? Do you guys want to do a little bit of sharing before I move on to the next part? In terms of lesson, impression, and realization, what did you guys get from that little sharing just now?
Just keep your emotion under control. Respond cool and calm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, you don't even need to keep your emotion in control. You don't even need to control anything. We just receive it, and then everything just kind of fall into place. Because the idea of control, it's kind of hard working. Kind of hard work. It's like we're driving a car and the car is out of control and we're working so hard to maintain control. That's a lot of hard work. That's stressful. Control is stress. So instead of trying to control our emotion or control our mind, just be at peace. In fact, what you want to do, let's see if I can use, let's use this one. If we can get to a state of, if we start to become aware of our spiritual nature, the truth within us, we will experience a state of serenity. Okay, this is a way of being at peace. Okay, if we got nothing better to do, just be at peace. If we have to analyze and distinguish, if we have to use our mind, the mind can be used for many things. It is a wonderful tool, but oftentimes it is not beneficial. And usually we use our mind when we are thinking about what people do to us. Okay. In our interaction with people, what we invite you to use your mind to do, or not to do, but to be, is to get into a state of magnanimity. We will talk about that a little bit later, not in this interaction. It's a state of being magnanimous. All of these are state of being. The state of being serene, the state of being magnanimous. And with the emotion, if you're going to respond, there are 84,000 bubbles of illusion. Okay, none of them are going to stick around. But which emotion is most beneficial? We invite you to respond with this emotion. Honoring gratitude. Okay, if you're going to respond with honoring gratitude. Honor the present moment. Honor the person who's interacting with you, and be grateful for whatever it is that life has given us. Okay? Science has demonstrated that people who they can measure, these are all energy. This is the map of human nature is also an energetic a map of human energy structure. Science can measure the energy of a person who is in a state of serenity. It is a state of ultra high vibration. People can measure a person who is in a state of magnanimity, which is generosity and tolerance, very high energy. And science can measure a person who is very grateful and who is honored by the present moment. If we can get ourselves into this state of ultra high, ultra balanced energy state, this is not balance, this is positive. Okay. And the magnanimity and the emotion, these are they take on polarity. There is a positive and negative, but instead of letting the mind go negative, instead of letting the emotion go negative, we go positive. We maintain balance in the serenity and we go positive. And guess what? Our body is going to experience that change from balance to positive as something good. The body will become healthy over time. For a person who is always grateful, for a person who is always magnanimous, and a person who maintains serenity. Okay? Did Marianne have a hand raised up? Marianne, did you want to say something? I saw a hand.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to ask you a question. Like, so I'm thinking the image of an orange, right? So if I am an orange, and when somebody squeeze me, they will get orange juice, right? So in order to, I was saying, you were saying that instead of react to the stimulant, like environment stimulant, we respond. But I mean, respond takes a minute. I mean, take a few seconds, right? So, and then react is a lot quicker. You just react. So if inside me is the orange, I will react with orange juice. So if
Okay.
inside, right. So if inside me, a peaceful appreciation, then I will react with, peaceful appreciation. So, I mean, if it's respond, then, take a few seconds to respond, and then people will, because it happened to me that, when somebody comment about my look, in a positive way, but I don't like it. So I don't respond. I don't react. I learn to respond now. So it take me a few seconds, to think, okay, how do I respond to this comment? And then people look at me like, what's wrong with her? You know what I mean? So how do I learn to respond or to react? Like positively. Instead of that few seconds of thinking and analyzing and see how I respond. What do you say? That moment is weird. That moment is weird. So how do I overcome that though?
Good question.
That's my one of my barrier. I would say that's one of my barrier. That I mean, easy to react to negative, comments. But I mean, here in the U.S. or here in the where we live, most people don't negatively comment you anymore. Over here, everywhere try to be nice, even though you look awful. But they don't say, "Hey, you look awful today." They will find something, to comment positively about you. So most of the time here in America, I receive a lot of positive comments, and I don't know how to respond to it because I know it's not true.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I need help in that area. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Marianne. I'm grateful for your presence in the Zoom today, and I'm honored by your question. Okay. And that question is going to help a lot of people come to a new awareness about what it means to be a human being. Okay. Thanks to your question. So here goes. Okay. Anybody else have any other question or comment before I answer Mary Ann's question with the next interaction? Okay. Alrighty. So to answer that question, how do I respond? Okay, how do I respond? Especially if we have been how do you say, chained down or controlled by our mind and our emotion for so long. How do we get to it? Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Luan, for joining us. Hope to see you again soon. Okay. In order for us to take complete ownership of our mind and our emotion, we need to become aware of the following concept. It is called essence of emptiness. Okay. Of all things. Okay. So at this part, I need you guys to pay really, really close attention. Okay. Because this could be very transformative to some people. Okay. Some of you may be at the door of enlightenment, and through this interaction your life is going to change. Everything's going to be so clear. It's going to be so simple and easy from here on if you can get this essence of emptiness that I'm about to share with you guys. Okay, so those of you who already know this, just kind of hang back. Those of you who are new at this, Andrew and maybe Marianne, and anybody new, you can interact with me. Okay, so I'm holding up this. Okay, simple. What is this? Just go ahead and answer. What is
Marker.
this? Huh?
Marker.
It's a marker. Okay, yeah, a marker or a pen. Okay, it's a marker or a pen because we use it to mark or we use it to write. Okay, it's a marker. Now, if another animal who's really smart, who live with us all the time.
I read the book. It's a toy. It's a bone.
Exactly. So if a puppy dog see this, it would play with it or chew on it because it would think of it as a toy or a bone. Okay. And so the question is, who's right? Are we who use this thing to mark and write correct, or is the little puppy dog correct?
It's all perception.
Okay. So we and the puppy dog are both correct. We are both puppy dog correct. Okay, so let's take this step by step. Okay, before we jumping into concluding it's all perception, let's take this step by step and see if you can get the essence of emptiness. So we think this marker is a marker because we write it with it or we mark with it. Puppy dog might think it is a toy or a bone because it chew on it. We're both fairly intelligent, animals. But if I were to put this down and I leave the room, and the puppy dog also leaves the room, and nobody is here, then what is this thing? What is this? That's an important question. If I'm not here, you are not here, puppy dog's not here, what is this? What is this?
Thing. The thing or whatever it is. It is.
It is a thing because you are a human being who call it a thing. But if you're not here, if the puppy dog is not here, if nobody is here, then what is it?
Then it's nothing, right?
It is nothing. It is nothing. Not because it doesn't exist, it exists. It is nothing, not because we don't see it. It is nothing because there is no observer to observe it. There is no one there to perceive it. Therefore, it is nothing. Okay, you get that? It is nothing, not because it doesn't exist, it exists. It is nothing because we can't see it, but it is nothing because there is nobody there to perceive it. Therefore, it is nothing. Now, you and I come back into the room. We pick this up. We see this as a marker because we muck with it. Little puppy dog comes in. It may play with it because it sees that as a toy or a bone. And so the next question is, what this is? Does it come from itself, or does it come from inside out? What this is, whether it's a marker or a toy bone, does it come from itself, its own essence, or does it come from inside?
From inside.
It comes from inside out. This
From the
thing,
observer.
it comes from inside the observer. The observer. It comes from inside out. Because the essence of this thing is empty. It is nothing. It is only become something when an observer give it some meaning. We give it a meaning. We decide what it is. And therefore, all things are essentially empty. All things are essentially empty, but because it's empty, it has the potential to become what?
Anything?
It can
Anything you
become
want?
anything you want. This has the potential to become anything you want. Okay? Up to now, we perceive it as a marker because we muck with it. But if we get that this is nothing, that its essence is empty, and because it is empty, it has the potential to become anything. It has unlimited potential, and therefore it can become anything. And so, with the potential for this to become anything, what can it now become? What can this now become? Before, it was just a marker. But now, because it is empty and it can become anything that we want, what can this become to each of you?
Become a marker, a stress reliever. I can
It can
play
be a
with
stress
it.
reliever, okay? It can be a stress
Yeah, I can
reliever,
just roll around it, yeah, to release stress.
or it could even become gold. This is gold. Before, it was just a marker. We could mark things, whether it's important or not important. We mark it. We might not even pay attention to it. We may throw it away. But this is gold. Why? Because I can use it as a tool of value creation for other people. Through my sharing, using this pen, this marker, I create value for people. And some of you here may experience some transformation, and you may go out there and create a lot more value for other people. You could make a lot of money from the knowledge that you have received through me writing this pen. Or I could mass produce this. I could mass produce it, sell it, and make a lot of money. And so this is gold for me. Okay? The essence of emptiness in all things. Now, if we apply this to another person, same thing. This is nothing until somebody applies some meaning to it. So it could be the same thing when we apply it to another person. When we interact with another person, can we, as a human being, perceive that another person is essentially no one? Can we, as a human being, perceive another person as essentially empty of meaning? Just as this pen is essentially empty, it is nothing, can another person that we meet be empty as well? Because another person can be essentially empty and nothing and no one. They have the potential to be anyone. If the person is already someone, then they cannot be anyone else. If this is nothing but a marker, then all I could do with it is mark. If our spouse, our children, our co-worker is already someone, our spouse, our children, our co-worker, then they cannot be anyone else. If another person is someone who is offensive, then they cannot be anyone else. If someone who is demeaning to us, then they cannot be anyone else. If somebody who is disappointing, then they cannot be anyone else. But if we get that all things, including people, are essentially empty, no one, then they have the potential to become anyone. And where does that new meaning come from? That meaning comes from not from there, not from itself, not from its own essence, because its essence is empty. The meaning is from us, from within us. You get that? And so you can choose to respond. You can choose to respond and create a new meaning from within our own perception. So all things have the essence of emptiness. When it comes to ourself, okay, let's apply it to ourself. Okay, we have the human nature. Okay, we have 16 human natures, all positive and negative. We also have the nature of emptiness. Of the nature of emptiness of human beings. In other words, if we get the nature of emptiness, who I am is no one. If who I am is no one, then I have unlimited potential. Then who can I be? I can be anyone. Okay? I can be anyone. And at that moment of emptiness, you can create. You can be anyone. You can create a possibility of being something new and different. If I am already a person who is sick, then I cannot be anyone else. But if I am essentially no one, then I can be anyone, including I can be a healthy and happy person. If I'm somebody who's stressed, then I cannot be anyone else. But if I become aware of the fact that I am essentially and by nature no one, then I can be at peace, can be peaceful, I can be grateful, I can be magnanimous. And that is how you respond positively in the direction of the kind of experience that you want in life. By getting that getting that all things have the essence of emptiness and all human beings have the nature of emptiness. Okay, beyond the 16 human nature, we have the nature of emptiness. We can always go back to the hearing and seeing and get that, oh, the will to hear and the will to see is always there. And before any meaning comes in, we are already always hearing and we are already always seeing. That is the nature of emptiness. And if you can extend that space of emptiness, then you can choose how to receive, what to receive, how to imagine things, how to express, and what we choose to make part of our total cognition. Therefore, our experience of life can change.
So in other words, don't label people, even myself. Don't label myself as ugly and
It's not about labeling or not labeling. It's about recognizing that there is, I'm no one.
right. But then, okay, so I know that, okay, I am, what is it? Emptiness, right? So it's kind of confusing. So like, okay, I don't value myself because I'm nothing. I have nothing.
Get to emptiness.
Before you do that, can I just, is it a trigger? Is this when we're in a situation where we're facing a negative attribute, call it, I don't know, a negativity? We want to come to balance. We want to deal with it. Is this the trigger to go into emptiness, to become empty? Is it? It's a choice we make to stay balanced.
You can make the choice to stay balanced. Yeah, you
That's
can make
what
the
we're doing
choice
here.
to
We're choosing emptiness.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We do have value, but we choose to humbleness. I guess it's being humble, emptiness, to deal with
No,
the
it's not humbleness is not emptiness. Okay. Emptiness is emptiness.
emptiness is empty.
There's no
You're
label.
correct. Emptiness
There's no
is empty.
label. There's nothing in it.
We're dealing with we're keeping balance. It's a tool to keep balance. Is it? Yes.
It's more than a tool.
Okay.
It is a recognition of our true nature, different than a tool. Okay. Different than a tool.
Okay.
It is a awareness of ourselves as human being, that we have this the truth within ourselves. We have this nature of emptiness.
Yes.
And by recognizing that nature of emptiness, we can be set free from labeling. We can be set free from all the mind stuff and all the negative emotional stuff. And if we can recognize that nature of emptiness, then we can begin to create a new possibility that is positive, in alignment with what we desire.
I think I get it. Nature is truth. The truth never changes. It's within us.
What part of the human of your being is at work right now? What layer is
right now.
right now? Yeah.
I just want to so my mind is analyzing.
Yeah. Your mind is analyzing
to understand how this works. So
that's fine. That's what we tend to do.
We have the truth in us. So where I use this, where to me it really is powerful, justifying. It's all true. I need to understand it and use it, and it's in those the negativities all around us, but we can be free of it because we go back to our nature, which is truth. It can't be changed forever. So we get back to balance, which is neutral. And because we're at neutral, we can go to positive. And we've overcome the negative and go from there.
That's
just
great.
Keep trying to simplify it. So
that all of that
simpler
all of that analyzing and distinction give you the sense of emptiness and peace that arise from that.
Clarity.
Do you get peace?
And then once I have clarity, I can rest because I trust clarity. That's my mind. I need clarity. And then I trust. And then with practice, you don't even have to think about it. Just go there. We're humans, right? We got to practice everything. And it's all built into us, the negative, the pot. It's up to us to learn. You're teaching us. Thank you. And me, I can start to understand it, practice it. And with practice, go to automatically let go and let it take over. Let the neutral nature, and then in comes the positive. This is great. I can't wait to practice.
Okay, at least see, notice you, at least you're okay, at least you're moving in a positive direction. Okay,
exactly.
At least you're moving in a positive direction.
Okay,
that's great. That's great. Okay, congratulations, Andrew. You're moving in the positive direction.
Feels good.
But let me ask anybody here, anybody else in the Zoom who has experienced this emptiness of being that we are talking about. Not everybody can experience it. Okay, not today, but next week I will.
I can associate something when everything is falling apart. Huge problems, huge put downs, huge just where you just feel lost. You feel hurt. You feel all these negative. Sometimes you just let go, and that is emptiness, isn't it? You just let go. You don't lose it. You got a choice. You can do something crazy and not too smart, or you could just, I kind of like go humble, just let go. And that is being empty to me. That's a description, a feeling of just, you can't take anything out of me. There's nothing left. I'm empty. Nothing you can do to hurt me. Is that the emptiness?
I can't tell you what it is. It is only something that only each person can explain it, can experience for themselves. Okay, what we're doing, we're just using discourse to sort of point a person in that direction, but you will have to experience it for yourself. Yeah. Okay, so some of us, we may have experienced it. Okay, when sometimes too much is too much, and we just let it go. In fact, letting go, release, drop it, seize it. Okay, let go is a good tool or mantra or a keyword that we can initiate at any moment in time when things feel so heavy. Just letting go feels much lighter. Okay, but it's not the true emptiness that we're talking about when we are we're still encountering the message from the external world. Things are still coming in. People are still being who they are. The world is still being itself. But we have the awareness, not only that things are happening, but we are also aware of us perceiving that things is happening. And we are aware that we are listening, that we're hearing, and that we are seeing. There is that is a dimension of awareness that opens up. That we become aware not just the external world, but ourselves as the perceiver of the external world. That is a dimension of awareness. There's the external world, things are happening. There's me perceiving that. And then there is the awareness that is perceiving me, perceiving that. That is my expression of it. Long time ago, there was one time when I was really sick. I must have been a flu or cold or something. My body, my mind was in turmoil. And I went to a meditation retreat. It is at a monastery called Deer Park Monastery by Master Thich Nhat Hanh. But anyway, as I was meditating, I was in a lot of pain. My body was aching, and I'm feeling all kinds of sensation. But as I was practicing letting go and practicing mindfulness and paying attention to the inner working of the mind and the body, and at some point, by some good fortune, I felt like the pain was there, but the pain was not me. I have the pain, but I am not in pain. I had that weird sensation that, okay, I have pain, but I'm not in pain. It is something I have, but it is not me. There's that separation. I have the pain, and it is almost as if I'm holding the pain and I'm looking at it, observing it from different angle. Even though it's my pain, but I'm not in pain. And that is an experience that nobody, I cannot explain. I cannot give you that experience. I can only try to express it in word. That happened through meditation, but we can experience that at any time in the day. We don't have to sit down and close our eyes and meditate. We can practice by just kind of focusing on the will to hear and the will to see. Become aware that, okay, I'm hearing, and okay, I'm seeing. And then as you do that, at some point, there will be a separation between our self, whatever that is, and the feelings and the thinking part that is suffering. Okay? Anybody else in the Zoom would like to share about this topic?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Frank Vương. And I want to share about my reality that maybe can help you know about emptiness or emotion or nature human. Like I have a problem before, just one problem, but my inside is 3 times different. I'm normally like something come with me, I will analyze. So my problem is why when I drive motorbike on the way, and I always get someone's bright of water on me, and I get wet many times like that. And normally I will analyze like why he do that, why they don't see some people drive around. They need to know and stop it like that. Sometimes I just analyze like that, no more. But sometimes after I analyze, I get angry. I'm very angry why he do that to me. But I remember one time I just drive and I see someone from upside and spray the water, and in my mind I say, oh, I will get wet again. But I have no feeling with that. After like that, I just smile and go. Nothing more in my mind. And I didn't know, but when I study from Master Tong, our master, and then I know that I can feel the time that I feel, oh, I will get wet, and then no more inside, and I just smile and go, nothing. So that I feel that I get emptiness inside. And for me, when I'm little, I watch movie, and I really like some old people living in the mountain. I feel they never get angry. They not angry, and anything come with them, they feel like, oh, like nothing. And I really like someone can do like that, because I think it's myself. I feel I'm very fast. Anything come to me, I will respond. I will analyze. So I think just we go someone somewhere without people, and then just like I don't know, meditation like that, and then can do that. And for me, if I live in the city, I cannot do that. But when I'm learned from Mr. Tong, and I know about the inner truth and how to do that, and I want to get it. I want to have inner peace inside, so I try. Like before, it's not all the time, but if I try, sometimes I can do. Like before, someone says something bad to me, or maybe I'm not respond to them, but in my mind will analyze. Oh, they so not good. They like something about me like that. They say like that. Always analyze. But when I know about inner be about inner truth, so I try. So someone maybe the message come to me. Just keep. Oh, I know that, and then I try. I make stop. All stop. Now we stop. Don't think anymore. Just keep like that, and then sometimes like I'm not fast to respond, and that I feel that we try that we get the inner peace and can let ourselves emptiness. One thing what I want to say that like before Mr. Vương have said like the message come to us where we can get the emotion or our nature or human or the mind, the spirit, like the inner truth. So the first message come, where it's come. It's not come to our emotion or mind, but it's come to our spirit, right? The inner truth before. From what we hear, what we see, what we know, right? So all of us have the inner truth, and all the message will first come to the inner truth. Just because we are analyze, we are respond very fast, so we cannot feel the inner truth inside. Just now we try to make a little bit slow. So like before I hear like just 5 seconds. Stop 5 seconds, and then we can get the balance, and then after that we can decide what we do, what we can analyze, we can respond, how we can respond, that we decide. Yeah. So what I get from our master from that, and thank you, Mr. Frank Vương. Today you make me understand more and learn a lot today. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me.
Thank you. That was really good.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So next week we will discuss a little bit about how and why some people tend to be more negative or positive. How and why some people tend to get this truth within themselves more simply than others. We will borrow the religious perspective, both Christianity as well as Buddhism, to sort of come to a fuller awareness about our human nature, as well as our true nature. Right? You notice that some people tend to be more emotionally responsive to certain triggers. Some people tend to be more analytical with respect to a certain subject. And at the same time, some people tend to find it more simple to experience inner peace. We will basically come to a fuller awareness about how that come about. Okay, how that come about, how we have developed that, and how for some of us it seemed to be so natural. Yeah, so that'll be next week. We'll talk about what it means to have a good fortune. Why does some people tend to be so fortunate in life? They run into good things. Why other people are so unfortunate? Okay, and how we can change our fortune. That'll be the topic for next week. And I want to appreciate all of you guys for taking your time to join the Zoom, to share. Your sharing has helped a lot of people transform. Okay. Once again, very grateful. Anybody else have any last word before we say good night or good day today?
I want to thank you all for sharing. A lot of people shared. Thank you so much. Thank you, Frank. You will help open my mind.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
It's great.
If any of you here have graduated the Mentor 6, or if any of you here are starting Mentor 7, I invite you to my Saturday morning session, which is going to be Saturday night in Vietnam. Saturday night, 8 a.m. is a chance for you guys to do the sharing. For those of you who have studied, who have taken on the mission of being a mentor, Mentor 6 or Mentor 7, your chance to practice doing the sharing, the drawing, and the talking. It'll be your chance to do the talking, and I would just be chiming in to help, basically train and develop the mentors. Okay, so that's a soft invitation. Other than that,
That could be Friday morning here.
It is for us, to Marianne, for us, it is Saturday morning, 8 p.m. in Vietnam. 8 p.m. Vietnam.
Saturday
Vietnam
morning.
time. Yeah, 8 p.m. Vietnam, and you can calculate your time zone. Okay, Saturday, 8 p.m. Vietnam time. Okay.
All
I'll see you
right.
guys
Thank you so
later.
much for sharing.
Bye. Take care.
Thank
Have a good
you.
one.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye, chị.
Bye, buddy. Bye.